This page is the cover of the official Nintendo magazine, can't you tell? Right there at the top it says Nintendo 64 official magazine, so no prizes for guessing what console this one's about. It's shouting about 40 winks. Seems like they're really pushing this platformer as the next big thing, even saying move over Mario. Bit ambitious, isn't it? We'll see about that. They've also got a section on cool games for under £30, showing off some absolute classics, to be fair, like Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, Wave Race 64 and Mario Kart 64. Solid games there, everyone had those. Then there's the tips for tons of N64 games section, listing Zelda, Micro Machines, South Park, Mario Party and Castlevania, so the usual suspects for guides and cheats then. Down at the bottom, they've squeezed in Game Boy Color, talking about new colors and games, because the Game Boy Color was still a big deal back then. And lastly, they've teased Jet Force Gemini with more info and shots. Rare's shooter, that was pretty hyped at the time. Oh, and it was £2.95. A bit pricey for a magazine back then, but hey, it was the official one. This page is the front cover, right? And it's really pushing the boat out for Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Free inside this mag in massive letters, and huge first review pull-out. They were clearly banking on that one big time, weren't they? It's got a shot of young Anakin in his pod racer, so you know what you're getting. They're calling it the first ever review of Ace new Star Wars game, claiming every track thrashed and multiplayer sussed, all the usual blurb to get you hyped. Then there's this game 40 winks, with that weird looking fella. They're calling it Move Over Mario It's, and first ever play of Ace platformer, page 6 apparently. Bit of a bold statement comparing it to Mario, let's be honest. Around the Nintendo logo, it's shouting Nintendo 64 official, always first, biggest and the best, you know the drill. Below that, it's listing the usual magazine stuff. News and previews, new game exclusives, game guides, testing every N64 game, pads and parks, and the most N64 tips. All for the price of £2.95. And it's got more pages, whatever that means. Standard magazine cover really, trying to grab your attention with the big titles of the time. This page is packed with game reviews and information. New game reviews highlight Duke Nukem 0 Hour, N64, a 3D shooter, alongside Milo's Astro Lanes, Bowling, and Flying Dragon, beat 'em up. The cool games for under £30 section promotes Nintendo's cut price bargains, featuring the Game Boy Color and a yellow console playing Rally. More Game Boy Color games are reviewed, including Quest for Camelot and Rugrats Movie. Best and biggest reviews continues with Duke Nukem 0 Hour. Best for hints and tips offers tips for Castlevania, while mentioning games like Micro Machines 64 Turbo. Best for news and shots focuses on Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Stadium 2, plus promotes 40 winks, comparing it to Mario and Banjo. This page is a full-page advert for the Game Boy Color and the Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening DX. It's got a rather dramatic dungeon setting, skeletons strewn about, and a massive sword plunging into the ground right behind a purple Game Boy Color, showing the Zelda title screen. Bit over the top for a handheld game ad really, but hey, it's Zelda. They are pushing the DX version, reminding us it's in color now, which was a big deal back then after all those years of green screens. It says Link's fate lies in your hands, and a new dungeon awaiteth you. Standard marketing spiel to get us all excited about adventuring on the go. It's essentially selling the idea of experiencing a classic Zelda adventure, but now with fancy colors on your Game Boy Color. Good game though, Link's Awakening, even if it was originally on the old Game Boy, this DX version did smarten it up nicely. This magazine page from June 1999, issue 81, promotes itself as the UK's top-selling Nintendo magazine. It features a photo of the editorial staff, Team Nintendo, and makes 6 promises to readers. These include exclusive previews, reliable reviews, and effective tips for Nintendo 64 and other Nintendo games. The page also provides contact information for reader assistants, offering solutions to Nintendo-related problems, and a way to locate the magazine in stores. Snippets of the cover art reveal previews of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer and 40 winks, promising in-depth reviews and exclusive first looks. The page concludes with Nintendo logos and a call to action to explore the magazine's content. It's a classic promotional page, focusing on selling the magazine itself. This gaming news page is packed with excitement for Nintendo fans. The main feature focuses on Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, touted as the fastest racer ever, with a promised in-depth review. A game news section follows, highlighting a plethora of late 90s game releases across various genres, including Army Men Sarge's Heroes, Pokemon Snap, and Jet Force Gemini. Additionally, the page features a review of 40 Winks, a platformer on the N64, The coverage also includes quick updates on Game Boy Color and N64 games. This month's magazine issue previews upcoming releases and offers various game guides and reviews for the Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color. The N64 section features a review of Duke Nukem 0 Hour, a competition to win Nintendo prizes, and guides for games like Castlevania, FIFA 99 and South Park. Reviews include Milo's Astro Lanes and a less than stellar preview of Flying Dragon, total test rates, Nintendo games and accessories. The issue also includes reader-submitted tips and scores, highlighted by Wario. Player's Choice showcases Mario Kart 64 and Snowboard Kids, along with mentions of Lilac Wars, F1 VGP, and Wave Race. The Game Boy Color section promises the latest news and reviews for portable gaming. Jenga. This page, it's a full-on advert for a game called 40 Winks on the N64. Blimey, remember that one? It's got this slightly creepy-looking bloke in a nightcap leering over a sleeping kid. Proper odd image to sell a game, to be honest. The tagline is trying to be cheeky, move over Mario and back off Banjo. Rough and tumble are gonna, implying it's going to be a massive platformer, taking on the big boys of the N64. Bit ambitious, weren't they all back then? It's flagged up as a big game with first ever play, every level, and all the info you need, so it looks like they're giving it a big push in this issue as the next big thing. Let's see if it lived up to that hype, shall we? Rough and Tumble sounds like some kind of knockoff platforming duo. Hopefully it's better than it sounds. This page is dedicated to 40 Winks, picking up right where the last page left off. It's another look at this N64 game, and yep, that slightly unsettling image is still there, the kid asleep, and those weird green monster things looming over. It's definitely going for that nightmares come to life vibe. They're pushing it as a big game in this magazine, highlighting it as a 3D platformer, which was all the rage back then on the N64. Everyone was trying to get in on that platforming action. Release date is pegged for September, so it looks like they were aiming for a late summer/early autumn release window. Game Info Box confirms it's by GT Interactive, 3D platform and September release. Not loads more to say here really, just reinforcing that this 40 Winks game was being positioned as something to keep an eye on. Whether it actually delivered on that promise, well, that's another story. The Sweet Dreams page reviews 40 Winks, a new platformer from Nintendo. The game features two characters, Rough and Tumble, who can transform into various forms, including robots. The expansion pack enhances visuals, a tactic to encourage further purchases. The plot involves rescuing 40 good winks from the villain Nightcap, who turns them into nightmare-inducing hoodwinks. Gameplay includes typical platformer elements, such as hazards and rescuing trapped characters. Players choose Rough or Tumble, each with unique skills, encouraging replayability. Controls are standard for the genre, like jumping and camera adjustments. Collectibles include health, Zs, long-range attack stars, keys, moons, and surprise boxes, crates. While presented as a major title, the review finds the game's elements quite typical, hoping it exceeds the standards of other average platformers. This page showcases the game 40 Winks, and it looks like we're getting properly introduced to the two main kids, Rough and Tumble, who are brother and sister apparently. They're pitching it as a dangerous duo, which is a bit much. They look quite sweet really, if a bit cheeky. The article text tells us they can jump into people's dreams, and they're supposed to be saving these winks from some baddie called Nightcap. Rough is the older brother, and apparently he's a bit scared of the dark, which is a bit of a weakness for a hero, isn't it? But it says he carries a candle, which is his weapon, and can swipe at enemies. Tumble, the younger sister, seems to be the tougher one, described as sweet but packing a punch with her teddy bear, happy to beat enemies to death with it. Bit strong for a kid's game perhaps. Carty. It seems you get to choose to play as either Rough or Tumble, and they're pushing the idea that they're quite different to encourage you to play through twice. Standard platforming fare really, rescuing folks and battling bad guys, nothing massively groundbreaking from the looks of it, but we'll see how it plays. The next page delves into the central hub of 40 Winks, which is this big old house that Rough and Tumble start in, their bedroom to be precise, and thankfully they are safe in there from Nightcap's goons. It's interesting they say there isn't a first world as such, you just wander around this house, attic to bathroom, to find the doorways to the different dream worlds. They're calling each room in the house a central hub, which is a bit of a stretch, but I get what they mean. You explore each room to find the portal to the next level. The page highlights a few of these rooms. The dining room, which apparently warps you to a prehistoric land, where you have to fight your dinner before you can eat it, charming. Then there's the attic, naturally dark and spooky, leading to the nightmare world via a wardrobe, and the bathroom, which thankfully isn't another dodgy toilet portal. This time it's the bath that takes you to the pirate hub. It's all connected by arrows, showing how you navigate the house through the second and first floors. It all seems a bit odd, but typical platformer logic of the time, you just go with it. Explore the house to find the levels. Simple as that. This document explores the ground floor of the house in 40 winks, highlighting 3 rooms that act as portals to different game worlds. The cellar leads to the castle world, a dungeon-themed area. The living room's television transports players to the space world, referencing the popular show X-Files. Finally, the toilet offers a messy journey to the underwater hub. Additionally, the page introduces Wakey Wakey, an alarm clock character described as the player's helpful imaginary friend. He resembles Tick-Tock from Diddy Kong Racing. Wakey Wakey offers clues about the teleport locations and assists the player throughout the game, acting as a guide. 40 Winks, a platformer for the N64, features hub worlds. The Nightmare Hub offers spooky levels like a haunted house and cemetery. Players collect Zez to wake up, fitting the game's sleep theme. The Underwater Hub features an Atlantis theme, with a submarine and comical shark enemies. Players can also encounter pufferfish. A key mechanic is the costume change. Characters, rough and tumble, transform into different forms using jack-in-the-boxes. These costumes grant unique abilities: ninja, swords, monster, strength, robot, lasers, and invincible, charge. While levels can be completed without costume changes, it is significantly harder, making it a core game element. This advertisement promotes a cheat service for N64, PlayStation, PC, and Game Boy games. It features an audio service, Cheatmaster, offering cheats and tips for over 1,000 games, including popular N64 titles like GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64. They cover various genres, from sports to fighting games. A Fax Cheats and Tips Faxback service, led by the Cheat Mistress, provides news, reviews, and walkthroughs for N64 games, such as Banjo-Kazooie and Zelda. They offered reviews to help with buying decisions. The advertisement also offered a chance to win prizes like a Dreamcast, TVS, and consoles. The services were premium rate, costing 60p per minute for audio and 25p for fax, a stark contrast to the readily available, free cheat information of today. This page offers tips for the N64 platformer, Big Game 40 Winks. The game involves rescuing Winks from the hoodwinks. The game features a health system using Zez, which are lost upon taking damage. Losing all Zez simply returns the player to their bedroom, avoiding a game over. Unlocking doors requires finding symbols, costumes, and performing a butt slam. The Space Hub level involves navigating craters, finding warps, and battling aliens and lasers, with the ability to transform into a robot with missile attacks. The page suggests the game is a standard platformer, with unique elements like costumes and robot suits. Counter. This guide explores the worlds of the platformer 40 Winks. The prehistoric hub features dinosaur-filled landscapes and swimming areas. The graveyard shift presents an ancient tomb with traps, lava, and the ability to use a ninja suit for traversal, and the monster form for combat. The Pirate Hub tasks players with exploring a pirate island, battling pirates with cutlasses, dodging crabs and exploding barrels, and using the ninja suit. Players navigate this level with a treasure chest warp point. The final stage is a boss battle against a pirate guardian, requiring players to use cannons on a ship, while fending off the boss's minions. 40 Winks is a collectathon platformer reminiscent of N64-era games. Players gather moons to access bonus rooms filled with collectibles like Zez and stars. These rooms feature timed challenges and vehicle sections, offering a chance to prepare for levels. The game features a hub area, the Castle Hub, with environmental hazards. Levels include themes like dungeons, filled with enemies that steal collectibles and inflict poison. The game supports 2-player co-op via split screen, a common practice for the time. The N64 version uniquely includes a battle mode set in a kid's bedroom. The review highly recommends the game, praising its graphics and character control, comparing it favorably to games like Mario and Banjo-Kazooie. This page is a bit of an odd one, looks like an advert for some Spot Cream, Oxy stuff it is. Features a woman looking a bit miffed, holding a vacuum cleaner, with what looks like a lad's mag attached to the end instead of the usual attachment. The text is all about embarrassing spots, and how Oxy products can sort you out, preventing them before they even start. It's trying to be a bit cheeky with the, whatever else puts you on the spot, It needn't be Spot's line. Bit cringe if you ask me, but I guess they're aiming for the young lads who are reading this magazine, probably worried about spots and impressing girls. Not much to do with games directly, but I suppose looking good is important even if you're spending all day glued to the N64. At the bottom right, there's a little circle showing off their range of Oxy products. Right then, moving on. This Nintendo 64 game review section boasts about its comprehensive coverage, promising honest opinions from expert players. They use a detailed scoring system ranging from real rubbish to amazing game you must play, with an awesome award for games scoring above 90%. The reviewed games include Duke Nukem 0 Hour, Milo's Astro Lanes, Space Bowling, and Flying Dragon. Duke Nukem, featured prominently with a large image, is described as an explosive shooter and received the Awesome Award. The game info box lists its price, £49.99, May 1999 release date, and multiplayer, memory pack, and rumble pack compatibility. The review concludes with an encouraging quote, "This'll be one to get." This review of Duke Nukem 0 Hour hails it as a must-have, showcasing a futuristic New York battle in its main screenshot. The headline boldly declares it, "the best shot on the block." The review highlights Duke's serious blast of an adventure, where time-traveling aliens cause global chaos. Smaller screenshots tease a Wild West setting and lizard creature combat, accompanied by Duke's signature sarcastic humor. Duke's own quote emphasizes the Western theme alongside the futuristic elements. The review appears positive, consistent with an Awesome Award, emphasizing action and humor. This review focuses on Duke Nukem 0 Hour's training level and weapons. The training introduces swimming, climbing, gas mask use, sniper practice with night vision, and an assault course. The reviewer praises the solid level design and impressive enemies, highlighting the arsenal. The review then details 4 weapons. The shotgun is effective but slow to reload in specific sections. Grenades provide crowd control, but require caution due to their rapid explosion. The plasma cannon offers powerful area of effect damage, but warns about its heat. Finally, the Volt cannon delivers instant carnage but can be challenging to aim. The weapons are described as over-the-top and fitting for a Duke Nukem game. This guide covers the controls and enemies in Duke Nukem 0 Hour for the N64. Movement is handled by the 3D stick, shooting with the trigger, strafing with C buttons, and action/jumping with the B button. The D-pad selects gear like gas masks. The guide introduces the main enemies: Lizardmen, easy; Pigcops, tougher; Octobrains, water-based; Drones, hovering robots; Zombies, undead; and Mantis, insectoid. It also touches on the game's sound, praising the music, explosions, and Duke's one-liners. Tips include managing ammo and reloading, and using the sniper rifle. The guide highlights the Havoc launcher as a powerful weapon for boss fights, encouraging players to let 'em have it. This walkthrough guides players through the New York City level in Duke Nukem 0 Hour. The level starts with immediate action, battling lizardmen and utilizing dropped weapons and a lift. The guide progresses through areas like the backstreets, where sniping pigcops and collecting health are key. A hidden route and subway add complexity. Secret areas, like the one with 3 babes to rescue, are highlighted. The guide emphasizes Duke Burger, requiring a gas mask, and the use of a code card to disable an electricity station to open a gate. Players navigate an office building, and then the underground, ending in the subway near the level's completion, marked by a Duke icon. The guide aims to help players navigate the level, hitting key points and secrets. The Duke Nukem 0 Hour walkthrough continues, focusing on the New York levels. Step 2 instructs players to use the railgun, sniper rifle, to eliminate lizardmen, followed by more lizardmen and a pig cop in Step 3. Health is located in a window. Step 6 involves a tank, directing players to the car park entrance and waiting for the tank to break through a fence to access the electricity substation. Level locations include car park, on the streets, and burger bar. The walkthrough concludes with a Boss Hog battle section. Players must dodge rockets and climb a ledge to attack Boss Hog in his lair. The advice given includes moving constantly to avoid getting hit. This review praises Duke Nukem 0 Hour for the N64, focusing on its time-traveling single-player campaign. Players blast pigcops and zombies in diverse locales like the Wild West and Victorian England, requiring skill and patience to find all the babes and time machine pieces hidden in secret areas. Multiplayer is a significant improvement over Duke Nukem 64, supporting up to 4 players with modes like Team Duke Match. The review calls it gruesome fun, suggesting typical over-the-top Duke action that friends will enjoy. The review playfully compares 0 Hour to GoldenEye, inviting reader opinions. Awarded a high score of 92%, the game is declared a brilliant sequel and a corker. This vintage magazine advertisement showcases a mail-order company, Virtual Reality, selling Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color products. They offered N64 console bundles including games like Castlevania, Mario, GoldenEye, and FIFA 99, ranging from £99 to £125. A variety of N64 games were also available, costing around £15 minus 40, including popular titles like Diddy Kong Racing and F-Zero X. Bundles with rumble packs and memory cards were also offered. For Game Boy Color, the ad featured pick-and-mix games, color-specific titles, and even the Game Boy camera. Customers would have to manually fill out an order form and mail it. Milo's Astro Lanes, a N64 bowling game released June 9th for £39.99, is described as a balmy experience set in the 22nd century's Astro games. The game features colorful graphics, cool characters, and stylish strike celebrations. Players choose from 6 alien and robot bowlers, each with unique strengths, to compete on wacky lanes like Alien Invasion and Asteroid Terror. Modes include Practice, League, and Versus for up to 4 players. The review highlights the imaginative lane designs and praises the variety of characters, while also noting the need for skill to master the space-age skittles. The game seems like a fun, albeit unusual, take on 10-pin bowling. Milo's Astro Lanes offers space-themed bowling gameplay. Basic controls involve stick manipulation for speed and the D-pad for swerve. The game introduces space-age specials like power-ups from colored stars, red for power, yellow for size, blue for multi-ball, and green for boosts. These power-ups trigger enemy attacks, adding chaos. The game features varied lanes like Alien Invasion and Venus with environmental hazards. Bonus rounds are available upon winning a lane. The review criticizes the game's cheesy sounds and repetitive gameplay, ultimately awarding a 52% score. The reviewer concludes that while the game has visual appeal, its controls and gameplay are ultimately boring, advising players to save their money. Flying Dragon for N64, released in May 1999, is a fighting game attempting to blend genres. It offers 2 games in one, a selling point at the time, featuring both a virtual mode and a super-deformed, comical fighting style, alongside 2D and 3D gameplay options. Players can choose from over 20 fighters and adjust speed/difficulty settings. There are 8 gameplay options, including circuit and tournament modes. The review highlights the deformed style, showcasing 8 characters, including Ryuhi, a Ryu clone, Robonohana, a sumo robot, and Powers, a wrestler. The review appears positive, emphasizing the variety and options, suggesting it could be a worthwhile fighting game experience. This text reviews Flying Dragon, focusing on its gameplay mechanics. The game offers various training modes, including free training for move practice, command training for combos, and practice games for general experience. A secret buster attack is unleashed with the C button after filling a gauge, offering a special move. Players earn experience points to unlock new attacks and improve stats, with custom fighters saved on a memory pack for competitive play. The review praises the graphics, highlighting solid backgrounds and detailed fighters. Overall, the page emphasizes the depth of Flying Dragon beyond simple button mashing, making it a worthwhile fighting game on the N64. Virtual Hiryu mode in Flying Dragon is a more difficult, ranking-focused version of circuit mode. The sound effects are the same as the Japanese version. New characters include Ryuhi, Kate, and Raima. 3D movement is improved with sidestepping. The secret buster is now a more complex special technique. A watch mode lets the computer play, which is considered pointless. The game's length increases in difficulty, requiring skill later on. The game receives a 71% score, criticized for average gameplay and frustrating hardcore players. This page is a bit of a weird one. Looks like a humor piece with a strange setup. We've got this young lad in a bright orange vest and yellow t-shirt, looking slightly bewildered by this older chap, Norm, who's dressed in a, let's say, distinctive style. Norm's got a woolly hat with Norm on it, braces, and some proper high-waisted trousers. He's gesturing wildly and telling this young fella off about tacky posters making you go blind and his mother freaking out. Charming. It's all a bit tongue-in-cheek, of course. You can see a Babe poster in the background, which I suppose is what Norm considers tacky. and for some reason there are Twix wrappers plastered about, a TW and an X, with instructions on how to fold them together, right then. So it's some kind of odd advertorial. Maybe Twix were trying to be edgy back then. It's not exactly subtle, is it, with the Twix branding all over the shop? Looks like they were going for a bit of relatable humor for the teenage lads reading the magazine. Using the old posters will make you blind gag. Bit daft, really. This page is an advert for cheap N64 games. Under £30, it's screaming in big red letters. They're pushing the idea of great games for under £30 and banging on about red-hot prices and classic games. There's a massive picture of a piggy bank absolutely stuffed with coins, which is pretty much hitting you over the head with the savings message. Down at the bottom, in small print, they mention a few games: Mario Kart 64, F1 World Grand Prix, or F1 WGP as they've put, Lilac Wars, which is Star Fox 64 to most people, Wave Race 64, and Snowboard Kids. All solid games, from the N64. To be fair, Mario Kart 64 was the multiplayer king back then, everyone had that one. Wave Race 64 was a looker with the water effects, and Snowboard Kids was a decent, if slightly childish, snowboarding game. F1 World Grand Prix, well, if you were into F1 games on the N64, that was your go-to. Lilac Wars, or Star Fox 64, was a bit of a classic rail shooter too. So yeah, it's basically saying you can pick up some decent N64 classics without breaking the bank. They're trying to get you to complete your collection, as it says up top, which is the usual marketing spiel. Nothing too groundbreaking, just an ad for cheap games, appealing to your wallet and nostalgia. This page is a review section, titled Player's Choice Review, so it seems like they're still pushing those budget re-releases from the previous page. We've got a look at reviews for a few of those Player's Choice titles. First up, Mario Kart 64. Everyone and their nan had this back in the day, didn't they? They've slapped a Player's Choice logo on it, but let's be honest, it was always a stone-cold classic. Then there's Wave Race 64, showing off those water graphics. Remember how good that looked at the time? Bit of a tech demo really, but still a laugh. And lastly, F1 World Grand Prix, which was probably for the serious driving game fans, bit more sim than arcade. The reviews are all pretty positive, as you'd expect for these titles. They're solid games, that's why they got the Player's Choice badge in the first place. It's basically saying, look, you can get these good old games without rinsing your wallet. Good for anyone who missed them the first time around, or wants to relive some N64 glory days. This Player's Choice review celebrates the classic Mario Kart 64, now available at a budget price. The review hails it as an essential N64 title, praising its 16 iconic tracks and the unforgettable multiplayer experience that kept players glued to their TVS. The review highlights gameplay features with screenshots, mentioning the chaos of red shells, close races, and the importance of mastering the tracks in time trials. It also lauds the game's catchy music and colorful graphics, which were impressive for their time. A section details the strengths and weaknesses of each character, offering expert advice on their unique playstyles. The review concludes with a strong endorsement, reminding readers of the game's brilliance and encouraging them to pick it up, especially at its affordable price. This review for Snowboard Kids on the N64, presented as a Player's Choice review, highlights the game's appeal as a fun, cartoon-style racer. The review emphasizes the game's accessibility and kart racing influences, drawing parallels to Mario Kart 64 with familiar controls, A, B, R for brakes and power slides, and power-ups. The game features 6 tracks and offers a range of characters, including Slash, Jam, and Nancy. Players can perform tricks and collect cash using the A button and the 3D stick. The review notes the game's simplicity but praises the tracks and overall enjoyment, making it a lighter alternative to 1080 degrees snowboarding. Snowboard Kids received an 81% score, described as a cracking little game. The review's layout, including the game score box, mirrors that of a Mario Kart 64 review, which reinforces the game's appeal for N64 fans looking for a fun, accessible racing experience. Lilac Wars, Star Fox 64, for the N64, is a classic arcade shooter. The game puts you in the cockpit of an R-Wing or the Landmaster to battle Emperor Andros' forces in the Lilac system. Gameplay involves blasting enemies with upgradable weapons, using smart bombs, and collecting rings. The review praises the game's stunning visuals, memorable music, and iconic voice lines. Different routes and secret levels add replayability. While the reviewer acknowledges the game's length is substantial, they also note it might be slightly exaggerated. Overall, the game receives a 90% rating, with the reviewer calling it a mind-blowing blaster. It was a top-notch N64 title. The page reviews two Nintendo 64 classics, F1 World Grand Prix and Wave Race 64. F1 World Grand Prix, an official F1 simulator from 1997, earned an 87% from Nintendo Magazine, praised for its graphics and options. The game captured the Formula One atmosphere with its realistic cars, drivers, and challenging tracks like Monaco. Wave Race 64 received an 80% and offered jet ski racing action. Players raced around buoys, managing power levels and navigating realistic wave effects. While the game was noted for its fun, the reviewer mentioned the speeds were slow. Both games were priced at £29.99 and are considered worthwhile for racing game enthusiasts. The next page is a proper throwback. It's an advert for Nickelodeon's Watch Your Own Week. Remember that? When they pretended to let kids pick the shows for a whole week. It's got that very 90s Nickelodeon vibe, with all those loud colors and, well, interesting font choices. They're highlighting shows like Sister Sister, Keenan and Kel, and Rugrats All Right shows back then, I suppose. Watch Your Own Week was on every day, from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., running from Monday the 31st of May to Friday the 4th of June. There's a kid holding a huge pink Nickelodeon phone. Peak 90s tech, eh? And the tagline is, the cable and satellite TV channel that puts kids first. Right then. This page is all about the Game Boy Color. Remember that chunky bit of kit? Your guide to gaming on the go, it declares. And every new game out in the UK. Seems like they're promising honest reviews from Nintendo experts. We tell you what we really think, and won't score a game high that we wouldn't play ourselves. We're on your side. Right then, we'll see about that. There's a list of game previews. Turok 2 for the Game Boy Color, more dino-busting action, Reservoir Rat, sounds a bit naff, rodent platforming antics. Then there's the Rugrats movie game, Top Toon Adventure, Rally Championship, Burning Up the Ickle Tracks, Cool Hand, dull card-playing crud. Someone's not too impressed with that one then. Men in Black, Alien Blaster based on film, Hexite, tricky, addictive puzzler, and Quest for Camelot. Zelda-like night romps. Zelda-like night romps, eh? Bit of a stretch probably, most of them tried to be Zelda back then. According to they're showing off a yellow Game Boy Color in the picture. Screens showing Rally Championship and options are visible on the screen. Underneath it says, out this month for your teeny team mate are loads of cool new colors. Check this lil lot out. So it's all about the new colors for the Game Boy Color, and a quick look at some of the games coming out. Fair enough. This page continues the Game Boy Color love you're in. Yep, there it is again, that chunky yellow handheld beast. Front and center. They're really pushing those new colors, aren't they? Showing off the yellow one again with Rally Championship on the screen. Looks like they want to remind everyone how colorful it all is after the original Game Boy's green screen. Rally Championship is still being touted as the game to watch. You can see it running on the screen. Proper pixelated racing action, with a glimpse of some city buildings in the background. They've got the speed and gear info on screen too, showing off the technical details. And just to hammer home the point, it's a Game Boy Color. There's a big Game Boy Color logo right below the screen, just in case you missed it. Below the handheld you can see the box it all came in, with the words Game Boy clearly visible. And look at that, batteries too. Maxell ones at that. Gotta have those batteries to power up your color gaming on the go. Pretty straightforward page really, just selling the dream of colorful handheld gaming with the Game Boy Color and Rally. This page is still banging on about the Game Boy Color then, fair enough. It was a big deal at the time, going from monochrome green to actual color on a handheld. They're really pushing this new cool colors angle, showing off a few of the chunky fellas in different shades, yellow again, red, and is that a purple one peeking out? They reckon this new range of colors will make you the envy of your mates. A bit strong maybe, but yeah, having a colored Game Boy was definitely a step up. 4 funky new colors, they say, and they're touting it all for under £70. Blimey, seems reasonable enough. Release in June, they say, so this must be around that time. Build up the hype before they actually hit the shelves. No specific games mentioned on this page, just the hardware itself, and the promise of brighter gaming, which compared to the original brick it certainly was. Still a chunky bit of kit though, wasn't it, the Game Boy Color? This review highlights 3 Game Boy Color games. Turok 2, a dino hunting adventure, receives an 81% score. The reviewer finds it average, though visually decent, but not as impressive as its N64 counterpart. Reservoir Rat, priced at £19.99, gets a 76% score, described as a bit odd but suitable for younger players. Finally, the Rugrats movie game, at £24.99, is praised for its colourful levels, challenging gameplay, and appeal to Rugrats fans, earning an 85% score and being considered a success. All 3 games are GameLink compatible. Do you know? This page reviews several Game Boy Color games. V-Rally Championship Edition, a racing game with diverse tracks and weather effects, earns an 89% despite lacking a 2-player mode. Cool Hand, a casino game, is panned for being boring, scoring only 55%. Men in Black, a shoot-'em-up based on the film, receives a 75% for its limited action. Hexite, a puzzle game, is surprisingly addictive despite its simple visuals, earning an 84%. Finally, Quest for Camelot, an adventure game inspired by Zelda, is highly rated at 89% and is seen as easy to get into. Overall, the selection offers a mix of quality, typical of the Game Boy Color library. This page is a full-page advert for Castlevania on the Nintendo 64. Right away, you're hit with these massive, slightly dodgy-looking, vampire fangs at the top, proper late 90s horror vibe they're going for. Below that, the Castlevania logo in that classic gothic font we all know, and the tagline spine-chilling, blood-curdling, bone-shaking. Bit much, lads, even for back then, but they were really trying to push the gruesome angle for the N64, weren't they? The N64 gets gruesome, it says, as if it was some kind of massive departure for the console, which, let's be honest, it probably was at the time. Down at the bottom there's a small screenshot of the game and the N64 box art, plus the Nintendo and Konami logos. It's a pretty standard full-page spread advert you'd see back then, to get you to part with your hard-earned cash for the latest monster-bashing adventure. Simple, gets the point across, if a bit over the top, with the gruesome hype. The Total Test section, led by Yoshi, served as the magazine's comprehensive review and gear guide for the N64. Each month offered fresh content, including reviews of new games and hardware. Sections covered all new gear, like control pads and memory packs. Famous 5 highlighted less visually appealing characters. A Zelda segment focused on the forest stage. Readers could find Nintendo numbers for contact information, along with sales and rental charts. Extras featured accessories, and N64 Magic teased games like Rogue Squadron. A scoring system, from real rubbish to amazing game you must play, determined the best games, with anything over 90% earning an awesome award. The section included reviews, such as Duke Nukem and Vigilante 8, highlighting the best and most exciting games available. Overall, Total Test was the go-to source for all things N64. This magazine page reviews N64 games, starting with N64 Magic, focusing on the Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Game reviews include baseball titles, All-Star Baseball 98 and 2000, both scoring 90%. All-Star Tennis received a 70%. Beetle Adventure Racing and Blast Corps earned awesome awards with scores of 91% and 96% respectively. Banjo-Kazooie also got an awesome award, 96%. Buck Bumble scored 84%. Aero Fighters Assault was panned at 54%. Body Harvest received 88%. Aero Gauge and Bomberman 64 scored poorly. Snowboarding title Airboarder 64 and Bomberman Hero were deemed average. Extras recommended the N64 expansion pack, SCART AV cable, and controller extension cable for optimal gameplay. This page reviews various Rumble packs for controllers, including the Jolt pack, Nintendo's Rumble pack, and others with features like lights and memory. The G64 Tremor pack is highlighted as the best. The page also features game reviews. Diddy Kong Racing and FIFA 99 both score 90% and are praised. Other notable scores include Buster Move 3, 85%, Castlevania, 86%, and F1 World Grand Prix, 87%. Some games receive poor reviews, such as F1 Pole Position, 39%, and Clayfighter 63 1/3, 25%. Overall, the reviews showcase a diverse range of games, with mixed receptions for both the games and Rumble technology. This Wicked Wheels page reviews racing wheels for the N64, focusing on compatibility with Rally Edition 99. Several wheels are featured, including budget-friendly options like the Race 64 Compact, and higher-end models like the Formula Race Pro and the Top Gear wheel. The page also includes N64 game reviews. Standouts include GoldenEye 007 94%, F-Zero X 92%, GT64 Championship 91%, and ISS 98 93%. Other games reviewed include FIFA 64 40%, Hexen 64 50%, Holy Magic Century 84%, Fighters Destiny 85%, Gasp 68%, Gex 64 78%, and Glover 85%. The reviews cover a variety of genres, offering a snapshot of the N64's diverse game library. This month's Total Tests section reviews several N64 games. Iggy's Wrecking Balls earns 83%, Mario Kart 64 and NFL Blitz both get 90%, and Mario Party scores 85%. Killer Instinct Gold is rated 76%, Knife Edge 75%, Lyalt Wars 90%, and Lamborghini 76%. Micro Machines 64 gets 87%, Mischief Makers 74%, and Mortal Kombat 4 earns 90%. Mission Impossible scores 81%, Mace the Dark Age 79%, and Madden Football 64 gets 86%. MK Mythologies receives a low 36%, and MK Trilogy gets 51%. The page also features a famous 5 Ugly Blokes section, showcasing unattractive game characters. The Nintendo magazine logo and page number 49 are also included. This page is a full-page advert, and it's hard to miss what for. It's got that classic Star Wars, Rogue Squadron box art splashed all over it, big swing front and center, TIE fighters exploding, all set against a backdrop of space. It's for the N64, naturally you can see the logo, and Nintendo 64 plastered there. The tagline is, "Rely on your instinct." Bit dramatic in it. This was one of the proper graphical showcases for the N64 back in the day, showing what the console could really do with its 3D graphics. It was all about dogfights, and blasting TIE fighters, a proper arcade space shooter experience, and of course it mentions the expansion pack, remember that? They always tried to sell you that add-on. Feel everything, it says, under the expansion pack logo. Right then. LucasArts logo is there at the bottom too, just to remind you who's behind it all. Yeah, Rogue Squadron. Good times, if you were into Star Wars and Kazan 64s. This page reviews N64 memory packs and games. The memory pack section details several options, like Blaze's 1MB and 256K cards, Nintendo's controller pack, Spectra Videos cards, LMP's LX4, and Joytex offerings. Prices vary, with 1MB cards generally more expensive than 256K cards. The review section covers a range of N64 games. Standouts include NFL Quarterback Club 99 90%, Mystical Ninja 88%, and NHL Breakaway 98 88%. Other games like Monaco GP and NBA Live 99 received solid scores. Conversely, NASCAR 99 and Penny Racers were heavily criticized, with the latter advised to be avoided. Most reviews offer mixed assessments, with some games praised for their quality within specific genres, while others struggle to stand out. This page reviews various N64 controllers, including the official Nintendo pad, which is still decent, and several third-party options. The Stingray 64, MacroPad, G64 controllers, SharkPad Pro 64, SuperPad 64, Controller Plus 64, Trilogy 64, Manta Ray, and the Arcade Shark are all discussed, with varying strengths and weaknesses highlighted. The Arcade Shark is particularly praised for beat-em-ups. The page also reviews several N64 games. Standout titles include Rogue Squadron and South Park, both receiving scores of 90%. Quake scores 88%. Other games reviewed include Pilot Wings 64, Robotron 64, Rush 2, Shadows of the Empire, San Fran Rush, Scars, Rakuga Kids, and the original Rampage, with scores ranging from 48% to 84%. The reviews describe a mixed bag of games, some enjoyable and some less so, mirroring the console's overall library. This Electronics Boutique sales chart showcases top N64 games. FIFA 99 leads, followed by Rogue Squadron and Zelda. South Park and Vigilante 8 are also popular. A voucher offers £5 off any top 10 game with a £10 spend. Mini reviews accompany the chart. Super Mario 64 earns a 92%, while Tetrasphere gets 83%. Turok 2, Seeds of Evil scores 84%, and Virtual Chess receives a harsh 64%. Silicon Valley gets 82%, and 1080 Snowboarding a strong 90%. Snowboard Kids scores 81%, and Vigilante 8 gets 83%. Each review includes price, player count, chart position, and accessory needs. Prices range from £30 to £50. The chart reflects the magazine's taste, with positively reviewed games like Rogue Squadron and South Park also selling well, offering a glimpse into N64 gaming trends. This page discusses renting N64 games, highlighting the appeal of trying before buying due to high prices. It features a blockbuster rental chart, led by FIFA 99 and Rogue Squadron, followed by titles like South Park, Zelda, and GoldenEye. The page also includes mini-reviews, with high scores for WWF Warzone, WCW/NWO Revenge, and Zelda. Other games reviewed include Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey, Wipeout 64, Yoshi's Story, War Gods, World Cup 98, Wetrix, Wave Race 64, and XG2. The piece concludes by advising readers to rent games that received the Awesome Award, with Vigilante 8 suggested as a prime example of a worthy rental. This page is a full-page advert for Wipeout 64, screaming at you right from the get-go. It's got that futuristic racer vibe plastered all over it, with a slick red ship blasting along leaving a trail of blue energy. 4-player Wipeout only on Nintendo 64 it boasts, which was a big deal back then for console racers. Proper mates round, split-screen madness. They've got a few little screenshots tucked up in the corner showing the in-game action. Looks fast and frantic as you'd expect from a Wipeout game. Feel everything is the tagline. Bit dramatic, but I suppose they mean the Rumble Pack, which was still a novelty at this point. Vibrating controllers, fancy stuff. And they're pushing the music, featuring music by Fluke and Propellerheads, again very late 90s. That electronic music sound that was all the rage, and really suited these futuristic racers. It's all part of that whole cool, edgy vibe they were going for. Looking at the bottom, Psygnosis and Midway are the publishers. Solid pedigree there for back then. Yeah, good advert, gets the message across. This magazine page offers tips and cheats for a range of N64 games, presented as official advice from an expert Nintendo team. The featured games include classics like Beetle Adventure Racing, Castlevania, Diddy Kong Racing, Zelda, and Mario Party. The page also highlights reader achievements and encourages submissions for a tips service. The tips themselves cover basic gameplay strategies, such as quicker movement and easy money in Castlevania 64. Micro Machine 64 Turbo boasts first ever cheat codes hidden in backwards text. Beetle Adventure Racing also features first ever cheat codes, accessed using the rearview mirror, also presented in a difficult to read format. The page is standard fare for the era. This page offers N64 game tips, starting with a controller icon guide. First, it covers Vigilante 8, highlighting cheat codes for a bonus level, a secret car, and all endings, written backwards. Next, FIFA 99 tips include scoring strategies, and the amusing absence of Ronaldo, replaced by Calcio. Finally, Wipeout 64 features tips on unlocking a hidden track, and the Super Combo Challenge. The page focuses on practical advice for classic N64 titles, targeting a hardcore audience with its difficult challenges. This guide, supposedly from Nintendo, offers N64 game tips and cheats. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time features the Lon Non Milk trick for infinite health. Turok 2's Master Cheats is hinted at vaguely. Rogue Squadron gets level select and unlimited lives codes. XG2's Wipeout mode unlocks stealth fighter ships. South Park's Cheesy Poofs decoder provides all cheats with Bobby Bird. Mario Party focuses on accumulating coins in Minigame Stadium and accessing the ending with 100 stars. Knife Edge has a mirror-based level select. Turbo starts are detailed for Diddy Kong Racing, Wipeout 64, and Mario Kart 64. Rally 99 hints at a cheat menu, and a call-in section for Nintendo magazine readers is included. This page screams right out of the late 90s Nintendo Mag playbook, doesn't it? Big splashy image, loads of white text and bold promises. It's a full page dedicated to Star Wars Episode 1 Racer on the N64. They're calling it the first ever review, so it's clearly a big deal at the time. The image itself is pretty iconic for the game. You've got the pilot in the foreground, looks like young Anakin right in the thick of the podracing action. Behind him are these massive chunky podracers with energy bolts flying around. It's all very dramatic, set in that desert landscape we all know from Tatooine. The text promises they've thrashed every track, got all the info you need, and even sussed multiplayer. Standard review stuff really, but back then getting the inside scoop on a new Star Wars game, especially a racer, was genuinely exciting. The Nintendo Awesome badge is plastered on there, so you know they're giving it the thumbs up. probably before you've even read a word. It's a bold statement to make, and it was probably enough to get any N64 owner hyped back in the day. No messing about, just straight to the point and selling the dream of pod racing on your Nintendo 64. This page is all about Star Wars Episode 1 Racer right then. They're really pushing the boat out calling this the first ever review, aren't they? Bit cheeky, but hey, it's a big game. Looks like they've had a good go at it, saying they've trashed every track and sussed the multiplayer. Big Game Info box tells you it's going to set you back £49.99, which is standard top dollar for a new N64 game back then, and it's out on June 4th. It's got the multiplayer tick, Rumble Pack compatible, but curiously, they've crossed out the expansion pack logo, so no need for that memory upgrade then for this one. They've got a "We Said" bit in big red letters, saying it's wicked, and that the single-player races are fast, frantic, and fun. Most impressive, they reckon, quoting Darth Vader, subtly. The main image is classic pod racing action, engines roaring, that purple energy stuff firing about, looks like Anakin's right in the thick of it. Down at the bottom there's a little line saying, Episode 1 Racer is every bit as fast as this, and to gun your pod racer as Anakin Skywalker takes on Ellen Mack at speeds over 600 miles per hour. Good stuff, sets the scene, doesn't it? Straight to the point, lets you know it's a fast racer. No messing about here, just pure N64 arcade thrills, or at least that's what they're selling. This page continues the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer review, kicking off with the headline, Event of the Year. Bit dramatic, isn't it? They're saying this summer's so massive, you can switch off your N64 for a few hours, for the new Phantom Menace film on July 16th. Right, like we're all gonna just ignore our N64 for a film? Chehi. The review goes on to say that this racer game is your first Force experience on the N64, launching in June, boasting 25 tracks and loads of meanest pilots in the business. They've got two screenshots here, one of Anakin's pod racer, caption says he's right in the thick of the action, the other is a shot of a race in progress, saying it's neck and neck in the ultimate pod racing test. Standard marketing spiel really, hyping it up. Still, pod racing did look pretty cool back then, didn't it? This page continues the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer review, running with the What You Play section, which outlines the game modes. You've got tournament mode, naturally, which they reckon you need to finish in the top 4 to progress. Then there's free play to learn the circuits, time attack for speed freaks, and 2-player for head-to-head racing on Tatooine. Standard stuff for the time, really. Rare. Next up is Meet the Pilots. Apparently there are 23 racers, but you start with only 6, unlocking more as you go. They've highlighted a few. Anakin Skywalker, obviously, described as a whiz with machinery with good handling. E.B. Endorcott, who is slow on bends but has good cooling. Dud Bolt, lacking handling but high on acceleration. Gasgano, poor cooling but fast. Ellen Mack, heavy but with top speed. And Odie Mandrill, a good all-rounder for beginners. Bit of a mixed bag then. Pika. Finally, Hit the Tracks, gives a quick peek at some circuits. Boonta Training is the first track, set in the desert. Aquilaris Classic is a water city track, and Malastair 100 is flat and fast, under the stars. They are pushing the shortcuts angle again, saying you need a quick eye to find them. Overall it's all sounding pretty standard for a racer back then, just Star Wars skinned I suppose. The review details the controls of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer on the N64. Steering requires getting used to the pod's side-mounted engines. The controller layout uses the 3D stick for steering, B for air brakes, A for acceleration, Z for skidding, C buttons for rolling, and R for pit droids. The game allows camera angle adjustments. Before races in tournament mode, players can inspect and upgrade pods, using starting funds wisely. Track previews show course layouts, records, and prize money options, like winner-take-all or more balanced splits. The review highlights track variety, including Mongaza, a city circuit, Bedo's Wild Ride, cave and lake racing, Vengeance, asteroid field with zero gravity, and Spice Mine Run, industrial planet with overheating hazards. The review continues with a look at the Sunken City, track in Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. The track features tunnels, underwater sections with sharp turns, and closing doors that present a challenge. The review offers basic racing advice, such as choosing the correct path and hugging tunnel walls. The underwater section is described as being like swimming with fish. The In the Game section emphasizes the engaging gameplay, devoid of power-ups but filled with hidden routes and hazards, like explosive gas, electric bolts, and asteroids. Players can choose from 4 camera angles: behind the pod, near or far, on the engines, and in the pod. The default view is behind the pod, but the other views offer alternative perspectives for obstacle avoidance and a more immersive experience. The reviewer, currently in 12th place, sums up the track as a decent overview, giving players a good idea of what to expect. This magazine page reviews Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, providing tips for players. To gain a speed boost, use full throttle by hitting A when the speedo flashes green. Upgrade your pod after races with parts from Watto's shop, considering the risks of cheaper, second-hand options. For faster early game money, set the earnings to winner takes all. The review also highlights the fun of the multiplayer mode, even without computer opponents. A limited edition console bundle was available for £120. The game receives a 90% score, praised for its graphics, speed and excitement, making it a brilliant driving experience. This page continues the Star Wars Episode 1 racer coverage, focusing on the Podracer Sebulba. It's got a big picture of him looking like a right grumpy alien, and the text section is titled One to Watch, which is fair enough as he's meant to be the big bad in the game. They describe Sebulba as Tatooine's podracing champion, saying he's a dirty player who uses every trick to win. Sounds about right from what you see in the film. The text also mentions he's an odd-looking alien, which is a bit of an understatement. He's not exactly winning any beauty contests, is he? They finish off by saying he's the racer to beat, making him sound like a proper challenge in the game, which is what you want, isn't it? Mano? There's also a cool action shot of the Podracers in the middle of a race, showing off the speed and that plasma energy link between the engines. All in all, it's just hyping up the game more, focusing on one of the key characters you'll be racing against, setting the scene for what to expect when you jump into the game on the N64. Seems like they're really pushing this racer game, giving it a lot of page space in the magazine. This prize buster page, reminiscent of 90s prize competitions, offered chances to win various tech prizes. Participants could score points by calling in, with prizes like stereos, radios, watches, and a top prize of a Pentium 2 computer awarded for scores of 30 or more. Instant win prizes included a Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Pentium 2 laptop and PC, DVD player, Game Boy Color with camera, and more. Further sections with names like Go For It offered additional chances to win items like TVS, PlayStations, and even a pool table through question-based challenges. Calls cost up to £3, and the competition closed on August 31, 1999, reflecting a typical late 90s promotion. This N64 magazine section features reader-submitted gaming tips. For Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, use light arrows and attack Ganon's tail, or jump attack/backflip against Kill Knuckles. Mario 64 reveals a hidden Bowser brooch on Lon Lon Ranch. NBA Courtside offers a code for secret alien teams. WWF Warzone includes character creation guides for Venom, Spider-Man, and Jaws. Finally, Mario Party suggests a cheat to always win. Manipulate controller settings to control the computer player. The page provides a nostalgic look back at common tricks and secrets from popular N64 games. This issue's Hot Game Help tackles Super Mario 64, Cat Blocks Yoshi, Zelda DX Bow Wow in Bottle Grotto, MK Trilogy, Shang Tsung's Animality, and Banjo-Kazooie, Mad Monster Mansion Shack. Readers get solutions and button combos to overcome these challenges. New ways to play. Suggests South Park football with snowballs and weapons for chaotic fun, and GoldenEye towers with timed mines for tense standoffs. Can you help? Addresses a WWF Warzone cheat. No easy way. And Turok 2 Eagle Feather locations. Answer provided by a reader who won a prize. Others can get info via mail. The page offers helpful hints, primarily for N64 games. This page highlights reader scores for retro gaming challenges. The challenges include 1080 snowboarding, highest trick score on Deadly Fall, F-Zero X, fastest Big Blue time, Rogue Squadron, fastest Mos Eisley time, and Zelda, Ocarina of Time, race against Dampé in Kakariko Graveyard. Winners include Emma Campbell/Thomas Rippin, Zelda, Tom Heaton, Rogue Squadron, Ruben Larson, 1080 snowboarding, and Richard Dunn, F-Zero X. The article celebrates the competitive spirit and the nostalgic feeling of submitting scores to be featured, with some winners even having their pictures included. This page promotes the Mega Challenge, centered around GoldenEye 007 on N64. The first challenge asks players to kill 50 enemies in the jungle level and submit a photo of their stats. The second, hard enough, involves a deathmatch with the chance to win loads of N64 gear, and entry into the Nom Towers event on June 5th. Cheats are allowed. A leaderboard displays jungle level times, with Joe Donhow leading. The closing date for entries is May 21st. To enter, players photograph their TV screen, including personal details, and send it to Nom in London, Isle of Dogs. Prizes include a Nintendo controller pad or Rumble Pack for top scores. Rules specify the final event's format and that finalists must attend. The page also features a Diddy Days advert for Fox Kids, and a warning against cheating, emphasizing their seriousness with the phrase, "Big Donkey is watching you." Rue. This guide delves into the N64's Castlevania, promising a vampire hunter's companion. It highlights the game's moody atmosphere and addresses gameplay challenges like fixed camera angles. Key survival tips include item and torch examination, using the C button for room overviews, and being prepared for off-screen enemies. The Evil Minions section details the monsters, including hellhounds, werewolves, and vampires capable of turning you. Preparing cure ampoules is crucial. Finally, Items for Slayer lists essential tools, jewels for weapon ammo and difficulty unlocks, time-altering sun and moon cards, and health-restoring food. The guide covers standard survival mechanics for a classic vampire-slaying adventure. This guide section covers the Forest of Silence in Castlevania 64. It begins with basic level navigation, emphasizing the initial weaponless state and the dangers of burning trees. Finding torches yields items like red jewels, knives, and roast beef. The first boss is a burly striped dude, a were-tiger, fought by using pillars for cover and levers to open gates. Next, a skeleton boss involves platforming and timed attacks. Hidden secrets are found throughout, including kamikaze skeletons, a speedy werewolf, and items such as roast, money, and a green jewel that unlocks hard mode. Finally, the guide covers locked gates requiring puzzle solving. This involves broken bridges, save crystals, and torches for sun and moon cards, influencing time. Bats, werewolves, and a statue/tomb puzzle are also present, necessitating exploration, combat, and puzzle solving. This section of the Castlevania 64 guide covers the castle walls and initial castle exploration. You'll face the tougher silverback skeleton boss, defeated by back attacks or magic. Next, a jumping puzzle called Enter Palace of Slaughter, with moving platforms and blades requires patience and a sun card. Following that are the Dragon Twins, fire-breathing snakes. The strategy is to avoid fire and separate them. See Drac guides players through a section of Dracula's castle. This involves navigating areas, starting with getting a roast from a torch for health, battling Dragon Twins, lowering a gate, and traversing collapsing walkways with spikes. Players will need a moon card and a key. Reaching the entrance top provides a save crystal and a roast. This will then lead to backtracking to access a newly opened gate, with the potential to finally meet Dracula. This Castlevania 64 guide covers the villa area. Players face hellhounds guarding the entrance and a platforming puzzle at a fountain for items. A zombie vampire can be defeated by using the stairs. A purifier is available upstairs if bitten. Next, players meet Vincent, a rude vampire hunter who provides the archives key if you've met Rosa. The archives contain useful items like a cross. Rosa, a blood-watering vampire, is encountered in the Rose Garden. Meeting her at 3 a.m. is crucial for story progression. Renon, a demon salesman, is found after picking up a paper. He sells various items and is found near a lion head door and the storeroom. The garden key is located in the archives, requiring players to obtain Vincent's key and backtrack. The guide continues in Castlevania 64, starting with the garden maze in Hellhounds, a frustrating escort mission following Malucanless. Next are the spooky tunnels, tailored for Schneider, requiring players to navigate rock crushers, platforms, and spider women. The guide then covers a vampire duo encounter in a dungeon. Finally, it details a fight with Frankenstein, equipped with a chainsaw, and the collection of keys and items leading back to the mansion and lookout tower. The guide emphasizes dodging attacks, using environment elements, and the classic Castlevania gameplay loop. This section of the Castlevania 64 guide focuses on Carrie's journey through the underground waterway. The first area, Dark Tunnels, features careful navigation through cold water and classic crumbling floors. Platform Perils presents challenging platforming sequences with trick floors and precarious jumps, promising frequent falls. Expect stairs, arches, lizards, and hidden extras along the way. Next is Poison Lizard Men, where tougher enemies, weak to special weapons, attack. A dark lizard guards a switch that deactivates a waterfall, opening the path. More platforming with spikes and another switch follows. Finally, the level concludes with a meeting with the witch actress, after which the sun-sealed door can be opened. This section appears to be a demanding test of skill. This guide section focuses on the castle center in Castlevania 64, starting after Carrie's watery escape. It covers gloomy chambers, a level with puzzles, a boss, and warnings to save early. Players face skeleton motorcyclists, special attacking vampires, and angel statue puzzles requiring key items. They also encounter knights, glass knights, and troublesome vamp butlers, and a torch is needed to purify something. Next, the guide details using magical nitro to find secret areas like the library and observatory. Players learn how to obtain and use explosives, later combining them with mandragora for larger explosions. Finally, it describes a castle bedchamber with a helpful blue lizard. Players are advised to befriend the lizard, who provides valuable items and information, including a key to the torture room, and advice on dealing with dangerous chemicals. This guide section for Castlevania 64 covers the castle center and hidden areas. Players navigate puzzles to break mystic seals, starting with a gap blasted by magical nitro. The player finds Renan's contract, climbs bookshelves for a moon card, and explores the observatory. The journey involves crossing bridges, battling enemies like maid vamps, and solving puzzles in an inventions room. The guide then details the Bull of Fury boss fight, advising players to dodge attacks and use long-range weapons. Finally, the section ends with a hint about the upcoming Dracula battle, promising spine-tingling battles and brain-stumping puzzles in the next issue. This guide is a nostalgic look back at FIFA 99, a classic football game. It covers the essentials: game plans, scoring, set pieces, attacking, defending, and special tricks. The guide highlights team tactics, emphasizing the importance of fresh players and formations, like 5-4-1, or the balanced 4-4-2. Ending scoring advice includes utilizing the 3D control stick for various shots, referencing the iconic commentary. Tips also cover exploiting the keeper's positioning and executing volleys. Overall, the guide provided a no-nonsense approach to mastering the game, evoking memories of competitive matches and classic football arguments. This guide provides tips for scoring in FIFA 99, focusing on both shooting and set pieces. To score real peach goals, try a high shot from the penalty spot into the top corner, or a low shot along the ground inside the box, which keepers struggle with. Headers are achieved by holding B when receiving a cross. For set pieces, hit the man in space involves a short free kick to a teammate for a cross. Direct free kicks involve aiming the arrow and blasting the ball. Lastly, for throw-ins near the box, chest the ball down and double-tap B as it arrives for a cross. These tips are geared towards helping players improve their goal-scoring ability in the game. Rushias. This guide provides attacking tips for FIFA 99 on N64. It covers set pieces, including a quick near-post corner kick and a more elaborate back-post routine. The through-ball technique uses the C button to split defenses. Wingback run involves fullbacks pressing forward with Z, R and C. The double step over uses R and C for fancy footwork. Attack like a pro details wing play. From the wing, 1, suggests crosses or powerful headers, while from the wing, 2, recommends passing back inside for build-up. Finally, jumper tackle and 360 degrees spin uses A to jump tackles and Z or R for spins. The page offers diverse strategies for scoring. This guide to FIFA 99 defensive tactics focuses on basic strategies. Shoulder charging is recommended in the box to avoid penalties, while sliding tackles are advised for midfield play, emphasizing timing. The penalty section covers saving, suggesting waiting until the last moment to dive, and taking, advising varied shots. Diving is also mentioned, which involves pressing buttons near defenders in the box to try and earn a penalty. For trickery, the overhead flick, R then C, is explained as a flashy move. The guide also includes a call for user-submitted tips. Ultimately, the tips offer fundamental gameplay advice for the N64 version of FIFA 99, covering both defense and some basic attacking techniques to improve player skill. This page delves into the madness of South Park on the N64, and blimey, what a game it is! It reckons it's got the skill of Turok 2, which is a bit of a bold claim, but fair enough, it's got its own chaotic charm. The article highlights the power-ups you can grab in the game, like double damage, making your weapons twice as potent, and the rather odd Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo, which acts as a shield. Charming, eh? Then there are football pads for extra health, classic GoldenEye style. Moving on to the wicked weapons, they're as daft as you'd expect from South Park. Terrence and Philip dolls act like grenades. Warpo Ray is a fast and powerful weapon. Super Sniper Chicken sounds mental with slow reload but fast fire. And the cow launcher, well, you launch cows at enemies because of course you do. The page also gives a rundown of the enemies you'll be facing, like cows in large numbers, evil robots who are snipers, and the more robust tank robots, and evil dollies and evil airplanes, which sound like a right pain. It's all suitably bonkers, and for fans of the show, it's probably a right laugh. Looks like they've crammed in all the usual South Park weirdness into this one. This guide provides tips for South Park N64's robot-filled levels. Seismic Rumble involves finding friends and blasting robots to reach a turkey door. Militia Camp Madness requires following arrows to Ned and Jimbo while avoiding snipers. Nuts and Bolts features a bridge battle leading to a boss fight with Mr. Hat in a robot, recommending powerful weapons. Toy Rampage has toy enemies, racing cars, and SWAT cars blocking the finish. Parking Problem involves killing toys and avoiding evil dollies with recommended weapons. Batteries Included is the final level, where players must defeat Ultra Mega Man, targeting his weak points and preventing him from recharging by hitting a red button. Success earns a congratulatory message and the chance to enjoy Terrence and Philip and cheesy poofs. The N64 South Park game features 16 multiplayer arenas. Highlights include the Indoor Warehouse, Gym Class, with a UFO Core variant, Factory, and Toy Store, offering close quarters combat and hiding spots. Outdoors, players can battle in Dugout with sniping spots, Neighbors with connected houses and gardens, Crater Fort in a cave, the Ravine with a valley and river, Cabin Fever with a deserted cabin, the Dam with water and platforms, and the Hill, ideal for sniping. The plant is similar to Warehouse and Toy Store. The game emphasizes learning level layouts for a competitive edge, typical of arena shooters, but with the added appeal of South Park's aesthetic. This page offers character and gameplay advice for the N64 South Park game. A cheat code, OMGTKKYB, unlocks all multiplayer characters. Character descriptions detail size, visibility in snow/caves. Wendy is good in snow. Chef is poor in caves. Basic tips for multiplayer include strafing, using the radar, learning level layouts for weapons, managing health, and collecting power-ups. Starving Marvin is invisible in caves. The advice emphasizes mixing and matching characters based on their strengths and weaknesses, like Cartman's health versus Ike's. The final section invites readers to submit tips for prizes, aiming to increase content. This website offers a nostalgic look back at the Nintendo 64 era. The site sells N64 consoles, around £69, bundles with popular games like Mario 64, GoldenEye and Zelda, up to £100, and individual games, with prices ranging from £15 to £45. Featured games include Star Wars, Racer, WWF Attitude, Banjo-Kazooie, with a beanie, Mario Kart, with a Yoshi watch, and Zelda, Ocarina of Time, with a Link figure. Beyond games, the site offers accessories like steering wheels, essential rumble packs and combos, memory cards, and even an interactor backpack for experiencing game impacts. They also sell controllers, colored, gold, Mirage pads, and Manta Ray, and miscellaneous items like sticker kits, carry cases, player's guides, and a device to play imported games. Overall, it's a comprehensive selection that evokes the feeling of browsing for N64 treasures. This advert is a blast from the past, a mail-order catalog for all things gaming. It heavily promotes the Game Boy Color at a discounted price, along with its accessories like the printer and camera. Action figures are a big draw, featuring characters from Metal Gear Solid, Zelda, Tekken 2, and Quake. Nintendo beanies and plushies are also available for younger gamers, including a free Mumbo Jumbo beanie with multiple purchases. Beyond gaming, the catalog sells walkie-talkies and clock radios. The lower half highlights PlayStation and Dreamcast games like Driver, GTA, and Ridge Racer, and even encourages pre-orders for the UK Dreamcast. There's a nod to the SNES as well, catering to older gamers. Finally, it lists keyrings, watches, N64 controller, Game Boy, Mario, Yoshi, and Mario Kart toy cars. It's a comprehensive shop for various gaming-related items, all available through a mail-in order form. Club Mario's letters page, hosted by Simon and Tim, is buzzing with reader opinions. Discussions center on the N64, with debates on South Park versus the PlayStation version, and praise for Turok and Donkey Kong Country. A fierce debate rages over Perfect Dark versus GoldenEye, and some readers feel older consoles are neglected. The page also includes a brain strain quiz testing Nintendo knowledge and a Who's the Hero guessing game. A reader is featured dressed as Link. Overall, the letters page offers a snapshot of gamer thoughts and opinions from that era. This Club Mario page features reader interaction. A Hidden Heroes section presents distorted Nintendo character pictures for guessing, with answers including Donkey Kong, Mario, and Pikachu. Name that game quizzes readers with one-line descriptions, leading to answers like Pokemon, WWF WrestleMania 2000, Tonic Trouble, Mario Party, Diddy Kong Racing, Castlevania, NFL Blitz, and Star Fox 64. The Power section showcases reader-designed Mario Party box art. Readers are also invited to design a new Donkey Kong Country box. The U-Review section focuses on the South Park game, discussing price, graphics, and voice acting. Reader opinions highlight boss battles and clues to game elements like Wario Stadium, Mario Kart, and Battle Canyon, Mario Party. The page continues the Club Mario tradition of engaging with readers on current games. Wario Stadium. This page is all about lucky readers getting their hands on Castlevania for the N64. It's in the Your Reviews section, and it seems like loads of people called in to win a chance to play it early, but only 4 Nintendoids got lucky. The article calls them Ben, Davinder, Bio and Mayun. They're described as the first in the UK to play it, which is a bit of a deal back then, getting to play games before anyone else. The article is split into sections with titles like Castle of the Dead, Beware the Stair, and Coffin Up the Cart, all very Castlevania themed of course. It sounds like they sent these lads to a castle to play the game, which is quite a stunt. They're armed with crosses, swords and garlic for a laugh, playing up the vampire hunter angle. The writing is all about tracking Drac and battling bloodsuckers, typical game magazine stuff, getting you in the mood. There's mention of the gameplay, finding the cart in a tower, and battling through scary stairways. It's all playing on the spooky atmosphere of Castlevania. Then it wraps up saying something about setting up the N64 in a coffin, which is a bit much, but you get the idea, trying to make it all atmospheric and exciting for a new N64 game. It's essentially a reader review, and a bit of a staged event all rolled into one, hyping up Castlevania for the N64. This magazine spread reviews Castlevania, showcasing 4 friends playing the game in a castle-like setting. Davinder, Mayun, Bio, and Ben each provide individual reviews with high scores, praising the graphics, sound, and gameplay. Davinder highlights the biker skeletons and dual character play, 92%. Mayun enjoys the opening and rock skeleton boss, 93%. Bio is impressed by the scary atmosphere, 96%. And Ben appreciates the controls and calls it a classic, 94%. A competition called Drac Whackin' saw Davinder as the winner. The reviewers received prizes including Nintendo merchandise and N64 games. The spread also includes a "What do you think?" section for readers, and thanks to the locations where they played. The article reviews the N64 game South Park, focusing on its reception by young gamers for the Club Mario section of a magazine. Several kids, who tested the game for months, provided their feedback. They played both single-player and multiplayer modes, primarily enjoying the latter. The testers shared their opinions, hours played, and gave percentage scores, most of which were in the 90s. The multiplayer aspect was highlighted as a key feature. While some found the single-player easy, the overall consensus was positive, with many testers planning to continue playing. The article concludes with a preview of the next issue, teasing a review of Castlevania. This magazine page focuses on reader interaction. Mario's hit list poses questions like whether 40 Winks could compete with Banjo and Mario, and which is better, Perfect Dark or Donkey Kong 64. Reader's art is showcased, with winners for South Park and Turok 2 pieces. A reader chart from Ireland lists a solid top 5 N64 games. Letters address game delays, Nintendo's Game Boy Color strategy, and parental concerns over South Park. Who's the hero? Clue hints at Wario. Finally, the page includes the staff listing and a thanks to section, alongside standard legal and subscription information. The page is a standard mix of reader engagement and administrative details. E-section. The Blagfest competition offers a chance to win Castlevania 64, Mario Party games and Rumble packs, Nintendo toys, and Star Wars/Batman comics. To enter, answer trivia questions. Hair-raising games asks what Dracula fears. Garlic. It's Party Time asks about the Mario Party board game, Rainbow Castle. Nintendo Toy Bonanza wants to know Mario's brother, Luigi. Comic Capers asks which spacecraft destroyed the Death Star, X-Wing. Submit your answers on a postcard or envelope, including your details and the compo name. Good luck! This Club Mario magazine page encouraged reader interaction through various sections. Club Mario welcomed general letters about Nintendo. U-Review offered a chance to win an N64 game by reviewing a specific title, covering aspects like graphics and overall verdict. Ultimate Warrior invited readers to design their own Nintendo Warrior for a prize. Snappy Moment encouraged sharing game-related photos, while My Charts solicited top 5 game lists. Finally, the I Am section collected personal details for letter publication and potential mailing list inclusion. The page aimed to engage young readers and offer chances to win 64 games. Applique. This page is the actual form you'd use to send your letters in to Club Mario. Remember those days? Before email and all that jazz, you'd have to physically cut this out of the magazine, fold it up like origami, and send it off. It's got little boxes to tick for what you were writing in about. Club Mario in general, a game review for U-Review, your top games for My Charts, or your own game idea for My Game. There are instructions on how to fold it into an envelope numbered 1 through 6, with little triangles to guide you, and even a box to slam your stamp here. It's telling you not to put anything in the envelope, which is a bit obvious, isn't it, as it is the envelope. Ah, well, health and safety even for mail, eh? Simple times. This is a nostalgic look back at a full-page advertisement for Gameplay, a mail-order retailer specializing in Nintendo 64 products. The ad boasts Britain's lowest prices for the world's most powerful consoles, offering various N64 consoles and bundles, including popular titles like Mario 64 and Zelda. They emphasized their service guarantee, including door-to-door collection for faulty items. The ad extensively lists N64 games, covering classics like Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye and Zelda, Ocarina of Time, alongside titles like South Park and Micro Machines 64. Accessories like rumble packs, memory cards, and even cheat cartridges are also featured. The ordering process was entirely old school, a cutout order form, requiring payment via check or postal order, a stark contrast to modern online shopping methods. The ad evokes a sense of nostalgia for gamers who remember the era of mail order and pre-internet gaming. Nintendo News highlights the upcoming N64 game Jet Force Gemini, developed by Rare, known for titles like GoldenEye and Banjo-Kazooie. Scheduled for August 1999, the game is a 3D shooting adventure where players control space warriors Vela, Lupus, and Juno, fighting against the space tyrant Mizar and his insect army. The article praises the game's wicked high-res graphics and claims the level design surpasses Wipeout. Additional features include a zoomable camera and spaceship usage. The news also provides a rundown of other games coming to N64, encompassing various genres like sports games, Premier Manager, ISS 99, Racers, Lego Racers, Road Rash, and family games, Rugrats, as well as games for the Game Boy Color, including Pokémon and Street Fighter Alpha. Jet Force Gemini is positioned as the main attraction, with Rare's reputation for quality games building anticipation. The next page continues to bang on about Jet Force Gemini, showing off Vela, Lupus and Juno in all their polygonal glory, looking a bit like they've just stepped out of a Saturday morning cartoon, mind you. It's got a little screenshot box showing some in-game action with one of those Mizar blighters they reckon they look like insects. And yeah, fair enough, a bit squishy and bug-like. The text is pushing the whole exterminator angle, so it's all about blasting these alien critters. There's a We Think box at the bottom saying Jet Force Gemini is a Rare game, so you already know it's going to be decent. Standard Rare quality expected, especially back then. They were on a roll, weren't they? It says to stick with Nom, because it'll be their big game next-ish, meaning next issue. So, they're clearly planning to keep featuring it heavily. Classic magazine stuff, get the hype train rolling. Lego Racers, a 3D racing game published by Lego Media, was planned for a summer 1999 release on the N64. The game features 12 themed Lego worlds, including Pirate, Castle, and Space. players race against 5 opponents on each track to earn power-ups. Winning races allows players to customize their cars in a garage, with the ability to purchase new parts. Screenshots reveal diverse environments, like a castle setting and an Egyptian level, with hazards such as quicksand. The preview highlights weapons, wacky tracks, and a build-your-own racer feature. The preview concludes with a positive outlook, calling it a promising speedster, with potential for fun racing. This magazine page previews several upcoming games. Road Rash 64, a 3D motorcycle combat game from THQ, is slated for late 1999 and promises intense action. WWF Attitude is coming to Game Boy Color, developed by Crawfish and featuring 30 wrestlers and cage matches. Ubisoft is releasing 2 Game Boy titles, Extreme, a kayak racing game with manga-style characters, and All-Star Tennis 99, an arcade-style tennis game. Other N64 titles include Young Olympians, a game featuring Greek gods and teenage heroes, and Gex 3, Deep Cover Gecko, promising improved graphics and new worlds. Finally, Street Fighter Alpha is coming to Game Boy, boasting arcade-accurate characters, animations, and a new dramatic battle mode. The selection appears diverse, with games catering to various interests. Autumn '99 brought anticipation for sequels. Rayman 2, The Great Escape sees the limbless hero rescuing his friends from space pirates across 30 levels, promising kicking graphics and tons of moves, though speed may be an issue without the expansion pack on N64. Expect standard Rayman gameplay, collecting, jumping and fighting. F1 World Grand Prix 2 also hits the grid, touted as an improvement with more cars, courses, and customization options. Featuring all F1 drivers, teams, and 17 real tracks, it boasts a replay function for reliving crashes, offering a more comprehensive experience for racing fans. A preview for the N64 version of Command & Conquer, developed by Lookingglass Studios and slated for autumn '99, is featured. This strategy game, aiming for improved graphics and exclusive content compared to the PC original, involves base management, troop deployment, and combat against the Brotherhood of Nod. Despite the blocky graphics in the provided screenshot, the game boasts more speech than any other N64 title and highlights ace movies for cinematic action, with limitations in screen visibility requiring strategic planning. However, the absence of multiplayer is lamented. The page also includes an anti-smoking advertisement for Respect, targeting younger audiences with a skull and crossbones, health facts, and a call to action. The ad features an IMAX screen promoting positive choices, like laughter and real love, and provides website and phone contact details for support, and a free cred card. Shadow Man on the N64, published by Acclaim, is a 3D adventure game with a late '99 release. The game casts you as Mike Leroy, a hitman who can traverse between the real world, Liveside, and the dark realm of Deadside. A cult seeks to open a gateway and unleash demons, and Leroy must stop them. Gameplay involves exploring both worlds, battling flesh and blood baddies in Liveside, and monstrous creatures in Deadside. Screenshots showcase a gritty, violent aesthetic with chainsaw-wielding demons and gory imagery, including a corpse nailed to the wall. The preview suggests lava pits and top-hat-wearing voodoo snakes. The game aims for a mature audience, offering a dark and violent experience uncommon for the N64. Nintendo news includes the 3D puzzle action game Charlie Blast's Territory for N64, which the reviewer hopes will fill the original puzzle game void. Rainbow Six is unexpectedly coming to Game Boy Color, a shooter with stealth and action levels. The classic puzzle game Buster Move 99 is also headed to N64 with new features. Nintendo is celebrating its dominance over Sega in Japan. Lil Link from Zelda won awards, and NFL Blitz and StarCraft also received recognition. A new Tetris game by H2O Entertainment is in development for the N64. Finally, The King of the Apes, Tarzan, will swing onto Game Boy Color, featuring 15 jungle levels. This page is all about A Bug's Life coming to the N64. Right then, another Disney movie tie-in. You know how it is back in the day. Apparently this one's a 3D adventure game from Activision, due out in the summer. They reckon it's got wicked graphics, which is a bit of a bold claim for the N64, but alright. It seems you play as Flick, that little ant fella, and you're defending your anthill from grasshoppers. Standard stuff. They're banging on about special moves to squish icky invaders. Sounds a bit childish, but it is for kids, I suppose. There's supposed to be 15 levels, plus some hidden stages, and 60 exclusive N64 challenges that you wouldn't get on the Gear Gray Station version. cheeky. They included a couple of screenshots, classic blurry N64 graphics, one with Flick and a grasshopper, another with Flick running away from a bird. Yeah, birds always were a pain in platformers, weren't they? So, A Bug's Life, on 64, another one for the younger audience then. This page highlights gameplay screenshots of the N64 game A Bug's Life, showcasing new traversal mechanics with wicked graphics and the original film's voice cast. It was hyped as a major Christmas release. The page also advertised a call and win competition with a wide selection of N64 games as prizes, including Zelda, Metal Gear Solid, and Rogue Squadron. Additional prizes included consoles like the PlayStation, Game Boys, and even pagers. Other prizes were a MIDI Hi-Fi, a PlayStation driving seat, and quads. Entry required calling premium rate numbers, costing £1 per minute. The competition closed at the end of July, 1999. Mario Golf on the N64 is described as 3D comedy golf, aiming for realistic gameplay despite its cartoonish style. The game features standard modes like regular rounds, time attack, and versus with handicaps. Special shots earn stars, and Wario might resort to cheating. The game boasts swinging heroes with 10 playable characters, but only 2 are available at the start. Screenshots show familiar Mario characters in golf scenarios, including Yoshi, Wario, Mario, Princess Peach, Luigi, and Baby Mario. The preview concludes enthusiastically, predicting a positive reception and urging readers to await a review. Set for an autumn '99 release, the game promises to be a fun addition to the N64 library, even if it's just golf with a Mario twist. Nintendo 64 fans have a lot to look forward to. Shadowgate 64, Trials of the Four Towers promises a 3D adventure with castle exploration, puzzles, and a spooky atmosphere, aiming to fill the void left by The Legend of Zelda. Donkey Kong 64 is on the horizon, boasting improved graphics and classic Donkey Kong gameplay. Fast News teases Eternal Darkness, a dark action title blending Zelda and Resident Evil elements. Confirmed titles include Ridge Racer 64, Bass Hunter 64, and StarCraft 64, which will feature a multiplayer mode. Finally, Rika, a sci-fi shooter with a female protagonist, is also on the way. This page previews 2 N64 games, Last Legion UX and Battlezone 64. Last Legion UX, a 3D beat-em-up from Hudson, features robot fighters in multiplayer battles with various arenas and weapons, slated for autumn '99. The page highlights the game's special charge moves and split-screen multiplayer. The reviewer is cautiously optimistic about Hudson, acknowledging their mixed track record. Battlezone 64 is a tank combat game set on the moon, described as a blend of Doom and Command and Conquer. It features strategic gameplay, shooting, and multiplayer tank battles with sniper guns, promising classic arcade action. This page reviews 2 upcoming games. Army Men, Sarge's Heroes for the N64 is a 3D shooter where players control Sarge, a green army soldier, fighting a brown plastic army invasion. The reviewer praises the game's graphics and anticipates fun multiplayer action, suggesting it's a good experience. Next, there's news about the upcoming release of Pokémon Red and Blue. These versions are finally hitting the market in September, with slight monster differences between the games, necessitating trading via link cables. The article showcases several Pokémon like Seadra and Jigglypuff, offering information on how to obtain them. It's a typical Pokémon experience, focused on collecting and trading. Warrington Knoll Formation on likes. This page is all about big wheels and babies. First up, there's a look at Monster Truck Madness for the N64. Right then, so this is Rockstar's go at a racer, a smashing racer apparently, due out in summer 1999. They're pushing the multiplayer angle, saying it's got enough for you and your mates to mess about with. It sounds like your typical monster truck affair. You know, big trucks, big wheels, probably crushing things. They mention a few modes: race, rumble where you're trying to park on platforms, chase mode with police cars on your tail, and even a bonkers sounding soccer mode with a giant ball. The reviewer seems to think it's alright, saying it's looking cool, and the multiplayer is fast, frantic and fun. Fantastic, they say. Bit much maybe, we'll see. Then, right below, we've got Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. Crikey, Rugrats on the N64, who'd have thought it? They're calling it a 3D board game, which sounds a bit like a Mario Party type affair. It's based on the telly show and movie, naturally, and you get to play as all the usual suspects: Tommy, Chucky, Angelica, Phil, Lil, and even Spike the dog. They're promising different game boards, from Angelica's Temple of Doom to Reptar's Rally. They're even asking if it'll be better than Mario Party. Cheeky sods. We'll have to wait and see on that one, won't we? Looks a bit basic from the screenshots, mind, but hey, it's for the kids, innit? This page features an advertisement primarily for new age consoles, promoting sales and trade inquiries for various consoles. The ad highlights Premier Manager 99 for the N64, developed by Gremlin, slated for an autumn '99 release. The game boasts Actua Soccer 3 graphics and tasks players with managing a football club. We think section confidently declares it the best N64 management sim. The advertisement also includes extensive game listings and pricing. It showcases a selection of N64 UK and import games such as Zelda, Rogue Squadron, and Conker's Quest. PlayStation listings include titles like Metal Gear Solid and Gran Turismo 2, along with accessories. Lastly, there's a Dreamcast console deal, offering bundles with games and extra pads, along with a promise of hundreds of second-hand games across all platforms. Pokémon Snap, a photography game for the N64 released in '99, offers a unique on-rails experience. Players explore Pokémon Island in a safari jeep, capturing photos of various Pokémon instead of engaging in typical action gameplay. Key features include amazing graphics, dozens of monsters, secret routes, and the iconic Snap Pikachu. Players have a limited 60 shots, encouraging strategic picture-taking. Apples are used to lure or interact with Pokémon, triggering actions like attacks. The game features characters like Toru, or Span in the UK. Secret interactions, like hitting a pink ball to reveal Chansey, add to the quirky gameplay. Zooming with the Z button and using apples to reveal rare Pokémon like Charmeleon evolving into Charizard are also emphasized. The game's light-hearted nature also includes interactions like Pokémon fighting. Overall, Pokémon Snap offers a bizarre but potentially fun, on-rails photography adventure. Pokémon Stadium 2 for the N64 is hyped as a sequel, with the ability to import Pokémon from the upcoming Game Boy games for 3D battles. The game will feature classic Pokémon like Meowth and Charizard. There's a photo mode with Professor Oak, turn-based battles, and 4-player minigames, including one with Lickitungs. Training Pokémon in these modes is key to making them stronger. The article also mentions Pokémon Snap and the original Stadium's absence in the UK, suggesting Stadium 2 will be released there alongside the Game Boy games in September. Or this page is pushing Gauntlet Legends for the N64, saying it's a 3D update of that old Atari classic, Gauntlet. Apparently, the peaceful land of Ataria is overrun by demons, and it's down to you and your mates to sort it out. They're banging on about 4 beefcake heroes and monsters everywhere, which sounds about right for Gauntlet. You're on a quest for 13 hidden rune stones across 4 kingdoms to banish evil. Sounds like typical fantasy fare, but you know, good fun with mates. It's a multiplayer game, up to 4 players on one screen, which was always a laugh back then. They mention it's coming out in autumn '99, and is a 3D swords and sorcery type of game, being made by Midway. There's a bit at the bottom where they reckon if it's as fun as the arcade original, it'll keep you and your mates well busy, which is what you want from a game, innit? They're showing off the wizard and archer characters, saying they're ready for any dungeon quest, and a few screenshots of gameplay with big bosses and magic spells, you know the sort of thing. The latest N64 news includes several upcoming titles. Hydro Thunder, a 3D water racer by Midway, promises soggy thrills with powerboats and diverse tracks. Pikachu Genki Daichu features a microphone for players to interact with Pikachu, while Top Gear Hyperbike offers motorcycle racing by the developers of Top Gear Overdrive. Barbie's Ocean Discovery for Game Boy Color provides a treasure hunt adventure for younger players. Grand Theft Auto is coming to the N64, offering a shift from family-friendly games with car theft and shady jobs. Finally, Mother 3, Earthbound, is still in development, and ISS 99, a football game, will be released for Game Boy Color. The official Nintendo magazine is hyping its upcoming issue, boasting it's the biggest and best. It promises exclusive Nintendo news, screenshots, easy-to-understand articles, reliable tips and cheats, and claims you won't need any other magazine. Featured games include F1 World Grand Prix 2, with promises of comprehensive coverage, Donkey Kong 64 with new shots, and Perfect Dark, touted as a Bond beater. A total test review of the violent and chaotic Carmageddon for the N64 is also included. The magazine aims to provide game guides and cheats. This issue is available on June 21st Street. This page is all about Force Gemini. Looks like some sort of action-adventure game, featuring these two, Odd-looking characters with massive guns. It's promising to reveal how you play, all the weapons, every level, and baddies and bosses. Typical magazine preview stuff, really. There's a little tip section highlighting Smash the Skellies and Hunt Drac, which sounds like maybe Castlevania 64, but they've changed the name a bit. Then there's Beetle Adventure Racing Sust, probably giving away some secrets for that racing game. And finally, all the very best cheats and codes, as always essential back in the day. Down at the bottom there's a Plus Game Boy Color section saying they've reviewed all the coolest color games. So, a decent spread covering the N64 and the handheld too, standard issue stuff for an N64 mag of the time. The next page screams, spend your pocket money. Right at the top we've got, coming at ya, like they're throwing goodies at you. Got some cash to splash, it asks. Cheeky. They're pushing all sorts of stuff here. First up, South Park vids. Series 2 on video, they're calling it Kick-Ass and Rude Antics. $29.99 it is. Then there's Footy, about the European Championship League final and qualifiers. Must be plugging the football games. Turok game is mentioned, the latest Turok on the Move Dino Blaster. Only £9.99, that's the handheld version then, not the N64 one. Nintendo Cuddlies are next. Biggest Nintendo stars as Cuddly Wuddly toys, talking toys even. £19.99, and you get a free poster from the magazine. Flying Dragon, they're calling it a little fighting beauty, and essential N64 buy, at £44.99, blimey, that's a bit steep for Flying Dragon. Mendel, down the bottom, pocket money stuff. Flick and Francis figures from A Bug's Life, a bargain at £1.99 for 2. Shadowgate, the old Game Boy classic, getting a colour version, £24.99. Star Wars Lego, speeder bikes, Luke, even a tree from Endor for £7.99, not bad. And finally, a Snowspeeder model, with a secret place for Luke's lightsaber for £17.99. It's a right mixed bag of games, videos, toys, all targeted at getting your hard-earned cash. Definitely aimed at Christmas pressies or birthdays. This catalogue advertises Nintendo and PlayStation gaming gear. A Join the Club offer includes 10 magazines, cheats, and a free gift for £6.99. Nintendo 64 bundles with classic games like GoldenEye or Mario 64 are available for around £90, with Fire bundles offering extras. Accessories include memory cards, rumble packs, and cheat cartridges. A wide selection of N64 games are listed from £12.99. Controllers range from official Nintendo ones to racing wheels and a rumble vest. The Game Boy Color is also featured with games like Bust a Move. PlayStation deals include top games from £6.99 and bundles with Metal Gear Solid. Special Reserve Club discount shops addresses are listed. Free gifts are offered for joining the club, including a goodie bag, controllers, and even a Casio organizer. This page is an advert for the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards '99. It's telling everyone to tune in to see who the Kids' Choice winners are from TV, sport, music and film, and who's going to get slimed at this big event. Looks like it's going to be on Nickelodeon naturally, on Sunday the 30th of May, and again on Sunday the 6th of June. If you miss it, you can apparently catch it again the following week. Times are listed there. And if you want more info, you can check out Nicktech's page 129 or their website. So, if you are into your Slime and Kids Telly Awards, there you go.